Have you ever been so betrayed by your own family that it changed you forever? What I'm about to share with you isn't just about missed plane tickets. It's about discovering who your family really is when the masks come off. My name is Genevieve Montgomery, and this is the story of how my family tried to erase me from the most important day of my sister's life, and how karma came back around in the most unexpected way. The phone call that started it all was March 15th, 2023, when my phone rang at 6:47 a.m. I remember the exact time because I was making my morning coffee, and I nearly dropped my favorite mug when I saw my mother's name flashing on the screen. Mom never called this early unless something was wrong. Genevieve, darling. Her voice was unusually chipper, almost artificially sweet. I have the most wonderful news. Your sister Cordelia is getting married. I should have been thrilled. Cordelia and I had grown up sharing everything. Clothes, secrets, dreams about our future weddings. But something in Mom's tone made my stomach twist. That's amazing. When? Where? I asked, genuinely excited despite that nagging feeling. December 8th in Maui. Can you believe it? A destination wedding in Hawaii. It's going to be absolutely spectacular. The Ritz-Carlton, right on the beach. Cordelia has been planning every detail. My heart soared. Hawaii! I'd never been. And the thought of celebrating my baby sister's wedding in paradise seemed like a dream come true. Mom, that's incredible. I need to start planning. Should I book my flight through the family group rate or— Oh no, sweetie, don't worry about any of that, she interrupted quickly. Your father and I are handling all the travel arrangements for the family. We want this to be stress-free for everyone. Just send me your preferred dates and we'll take care of everything. Consider it our gift to the family. Looking back now, I can see all the red flags I missed. But at that moment, I was just grateful. As a middle school teacher in Cleveland, Ohio, I didn't have the budget my parents did. My father, Richard Montgomery, owned 3 car dealerships across Ohio, and my mother, Patricia, had never worked a day in her life but managed to spend money like it was an Olympic sport. That's so generous, Mom. Thank you. I can fly out maybe 2 days before, help with any last-minute preparations? There was a pause. A heavy, awkward pause. Actually, Genevieve, Cordelia has hired a wedding planner. Everything's under control. Just come for the wedding day. You know how you can be a bit overbearing sometimes when you're trying to help. The words stung, but I swallowed the hurt. This was about Cordelia, not me, the family that never really saw me. Let me paint you a picture of the Montgomery family dynamics. My father, the self-made businessman who pulled himself up from nothing, always favored results over emotions. My mother, who came from old money, never let anyone forget it. Then there was Cordelia, beautiful, delicate Cordelia, with her golden hair and blue eyes, who could do no wrong. And then there was me. I looked like my father's side of the family. Dark hair, strong features, taller and broader than my petite mother and sister. I was the practical one, the responsible one, the one who became a teacher because I actually cared about making a difference, not making money. My younger brother, Harrison, was the baby boy, the prince who would carry on the Montgomery name and eventually take over the dealerships. He was 24, fresh out of business school, and already being groomed for succession. I was 32, single, living in a small apartment, and apparently the family disappointment. But they were still my family, and I loved them, despite everything. 8 months of growing suspicion. Over the next 8 months, I tried to be involved in Cordelia's wedding planning. I really did. I'd text her, "Hey, Cordy, want to go dress shopping together?" Her response, 3 days later, "Already went with Mom and Aunt Philippa. Found the perfect dress." I'd call, "What are the wedding colors? I want to make sure I coordinate." "Oh, dusty rose and champagne gold. But don't worry about it too much." Every attempt I made to connect, to be part of this major life event, was met with vague responses, delayed replies, or outright dismissal. In July, I sent Mom an email. "Hi, Mom. Just checking in about those flight details. I need to request time off from school, and I want to make sure I have the right dates." Her response, "All taken care of, dear. You're flying out December 7th, returning December 10th. I'll send you the confirmation soon. Soon never came. In September, I followed up again. Mom, I still haven't received the flight confirmation. Can you forward it to me? I need to submit my time off request. Oh, Genevieve, stop worrying. Everything is handled. You teachers and your bureaucracy, the confirmation will come. In November, exactly 1 month before the wedding, I was getting desperate. Mom, I need the flight information. Now. School requires 2 weeks' notice for any time off requests during December. She called me this time, and I could hear the irritation in her voice. Genevieve Rose Montgomery, I don't appreciate your tone. I said it's handled. Do you not trust your own mother? The flights are booked. You're confirmed. You'll get the details when everyone else does. When is everyone else getting them? 2 weeks before departure. Now please stop bothering me. I'm very busy with the wedding preparations. I felt like I was going crazy. But I told myself this was just typical mom chaos. She was probably overwhelmed with wedding planning and would send everything at the last minute like she always did. The email. That never came, December 1st, 2023, 1 week before I was supposed to fly to Hawaii. I had submitted my time off request at school based on faith alone. My principal, Mrs. Chen, had given me concerned looks but approved it because I'd never missed a day in 3 years of teaching. Genevieve, are you absolutely sure about these dates? She'd asked. Yes, Mrs. Chen. My sister's wedding in Hawaii. It's all arranged. Now, with 1 week to go, I still had no flight confirmation, no hotel information, no itinerary, nothing. I called my mother. Straight to voicemail, I called my father. His secretary said he was in meetings all day. I texted Cordelia. Hey, so excited. Can you send me the hotel info? Want to make sure I'm packed properly. No response. I texted Harrison. Bro, did you get your flight info yet? His response made my blood run cold. Yeah, got it 3 weeks ago. You didn't get yours? My hands started shaking. No. Mom said she'd send it. That's weird. We all got ours together. Maybe check your spam folder? I checked everything. Every folder, every possible place an email could hide. Nothing. The devastating phone call, December 3rd, 4 days before departure. I was in full panic mode. I called my mother 15 times. She finally answered on the 16th. Genevieve, what on earth? Mom! I don't have my flight information. I leave in 4 days. Silence. Long, horrible silence, Mom. Genevieve. Her voice had changed, colder, distant. There must have been some kind of miscommunication. My heart stopped. What do you mean, miscommunication? Well, when we were booking the flights, there were budget constraints. The resort has minimum booking requirements for the room blocks, and with the flight costs being so high during peak season. Mom, did you book my flight or not? Another pause. We had to make some difficult decisions about the guest list, sweetheart. This is Cordelia's special day, and, Mother, did you book my flight? No, Genevieve. We didn't, but it's not personal. It's just, you understand how expensive destination weddings are, and we had to prioritize Cordelia's friends from college and her fiancé's family, and I couldn't breathe. The room was spinning. You're telling me 4 days before the wedding that I'm not invited to my own sister's wedding? That's not what I said. You're absolutely invited. We just couldn't cover your travel expenses. But if you want to come, you're more than welcome to book your own flight. I'm sure there's still availability. Mom, flights to Maui in December, 4 days out, cost thousands of dollars. You know I don't have that kind of money. Well, Genevieve, that's not really our problem, is it? We've already spent over $80,000 on this wedding. We can't be expected to fund everyone's travel arrangements. But you funded everyone else's. Harrison told me he got his confirmation 3 weeks ago. Harrison is family. The words hit me like a physical blow. And I'm not? Don't be dramatic. You know what I mean. Harrison is helping your father with the business. He's contributing to the family. You're a teacher, Genevieve. You made your choices. I hung up. I actually hung up on my mother for the first time in my life. Then I called Cordelia. She answered on the first ring. Jen, I'm so sorry you found out this way. You knew? You knew they weren't booking my flight? It wasn't my decision. Mom and Dad said the budget was tight, and I had to choose between you and Brandon's groomsmen, and you chose his groomsmen over your own sister? Genevieve, please don't make this about you. This is my wedding day. Can't you just be happy for me? How can I be happy for you when you excluded me? You're being so selfish right now. This is exactly why Mom said you'd make everything difficult. Just book your own flight if it means that much to you. She hung up. I sat on my apartment floor and cried for 3 hours. The Wedding Without Me, December 8th, 2023. While my family celebrated in Hawaiian paradise, I sat in my apartment in Cleveland, scrolling through Instagram stories and Facebook updates, watching my own family have the time of their lives without me. Cordelia looked beautiful in her dress, a stunning lace gown that probably cost more than my yearly salary. My mother wore a champagne-colored dress that screamed money. My father looked proud in his tuxedo. Harrison was a groomsman, grinning in every photo. They posted everything. Every single moment. The beach ceremony at sunset. The reception with swaying palm trees and tiki torches. The cake cutting. The first dance. The family photos. I wasn't in a single one. It was like I didn't exist. But what made it worse was the comments. Such a beautiful family. Perfect day for a perfect family. And then from my Aunt Philippa. So glad the whole family could be here for this special day. The whole family, except me. No one mentioned my absence. Not one person commented, "Where's Genevieve?" Not one family member questioned why there were only 4 Montgomerys in the family photos instead of 5. I was erased. That night, I made a decision. I was done. Done trying to earn love from people who clearly didn't value me. Done being the family afterthought. Done hoping things would change. I blocked them all on social media. I didn't answer their calls when they returned from Hawaii. When my mother finally showed up at my apartment 2 weeks later, I didn't answer the door. I heard her through the door. "Genevieve, stop being childish. It was just a wedding. You're ruining Christmas for everyone with your attitude. Just a wedding? My sister's wedding. The wedding I'd dreamed of being part of since we were little girls playing bride with bedsheets as veils. Just a wedding." 1 year of silence and growth. I didn't speak to my family for an entire year. At first, they tried to contact me. Guilt-tripping texts from my mother. Angry voicemails from my father about family. Loyalty. Tearful messages from Cordelia about how I was breaking her heart by holding grudges. Harrison was the only one who acknowledged what they'd done was wrong. He sent me one text in January 2024. "What they did was messed up, Jen. I'm sorry I didn't say anything. I was a coward. If you ever want to talk, I'm here." I didn't respond, but I didn't block him either. That year of silence was the most painful and the most transformative of my life. I started therapy. My therapist, Dr. Yolanda Williams, helped me see patterns I'd been blind to my whole life. The favoritism, the conditional love, the way I'd contorted myself trying to earn approval that was never going to come. "Genevieve," she said during one session in March, "you've been auditioning for a role in your family that doesn't exist. They've already cast their play, and there's no part for who you really are." I threw myself into my teaching. My students became my real family. I started a creative writing club that met after school. We wrote stories, shared dreams, and I made sure every single one of those kids knew they mattered. I also started writing myself. Not just for the kids, but for me. I'd always loved writing, but never had time for it. Now, with no family obligations draining my emotional energy, I wrote every evening. I started dating. Nothing serious, but I went out, met people, remembered what it felt like to be valued for who I was, not who I was expected to be. I made new friends. Real friends who showed up for coffee dates and didn't cancel at the last minute. Friends who remembered my birthday without Facebook reminding them. By December 2024, I was a different person, stronger, clearer, free. And that's when Harrison called. The phone call that changed everything, December 2nd, 2024. Almost exactly 1 year after that devastating phone call from my mother. Harrison's name popped up on my phone at 8:15 p.m. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Jen? Please don't hang up. His voice was shaking. What's wrong? I asked, immediately worried despite everything. Can we meet? In person? There's something I need to tell you, and I can't do it over the phone. The next evening, we met at a quiet coffee shop in downtown Cleveland. Harrison looked terrible. Dark circles under his eyes, wrinkled shirt. A far cry from the polished businessman I'd seen in those Hawaii photos. Thank you for meeting me, he said, stirring his coffee nervously. What's going on, Harrison? He took a deep breath. Cordelia's getting divorced, I blinked. What? They've been married less than a year. 8 months, Brandon filed last week. Turns out he'd been having an affair with one of the bridesmaids. You know, one of the ones they prioritized over you, for 6 months before the wedding. The irony wasn't lost on me. And there's more, Harrison continued. Mom and Dad are furious, but not for the reason you'd think. Cordelia signed a prenup. Brandon's family is wealthy, like seriously wealthy. Generational wealth that makes Dad's dealerships look like pocket change. Cordelia thought she was set for life. What does the prenup say? If the marriage ends before 5 years due to infidelity on Brandon's part, she gets nothing. 0. Not a penny. And Brandon's lawyer has photos, texts, hotel receipts, everything they need to prove the affair. I should have felt vindicated. I should have felt like karma had finally caught up with them. Instead, I just felt sad. Sad for the little girl I'd played with. Sad for the sister I'd loved before she chose a wedding guest list over me. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Harrison's eyes filled with tears. Because Mom's response was to say, well, at least we didn't waste money on Genevieve's plane ticket. When Cordelia was crying about Brandon leaving her, Mom actually said that. I felt sick. And that's when I snapped, Harrison continued. I told them exactly what I thought about what they did to you. I told them they destroyed their relationship with their daughter over a few $1,000s while spending $80,000 on a wedding for a marriage that didn't even last a year. I told them they were cruel and shallow, and I was ashamed to be their son. Harrison, I'm not done. I told them I'm done with the family business. I'm not taking over the dealerships. I'm moving to Portland to work for a nonprofit. And I told them that you were right to cut them off, and I should have defended you a year ago. Tears were streaming down my face now. How did they react? Dad threatened to disown me. Mom cried and said I was turning my back on the family just like you did. Cordelia? He paused. Cordelia said she wanted to call you. To apologize. But she's scared you'll hang up on her. She should be. We sat in silence for a moment. There's one more thing, Harrison said quietly. Mom kept all the photos from the wedding in frames around the house. The family portraits. Recently, Dad asked where you were in them. He literally forgot you weren't there. When Mom reminded him they didn't book your flight, he got angry, at himself. I think reality is finally hitting him. The apology that came too late, a week later, I received a letter. An actual handwritten letter, not a text or email. It was from Cordelia. Dear Genevieve, I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't even know if I can forgive myself. What we did to you, what I allowed to happen, was unforgivable. I've had a lot of time to think this past month. When Brandon left me, I kept thinking about who I wanted to call. I wanted to call my sister, the one who used to comfort me when I had nightmares, the one who taught me to ride a bike, the one who always protected me. But I gave up that right when I chose groomsmen I barely knew over you. Mom and Dad trained us to value appearances over everything, to prioritize status and money over love and loyalty, and I fell for it. I thought Brandon's wealth would make me happy. I thought having the perfect wedding was more important than having you there. I was wrong about everything. You deserved better than us. You still do. You always have. I'm not asking you to call me or see me. I'm just asking you to know that I'm sorry. Truly, deeply sorry. Your sister, if you'll still let me call myself that. Cordelia. I read that letter 5 times. I cried, I raged. I grieved, and then I put it in a drawer and tried to move on. Christmas 2024. The invitation 3 weeks later. Harrison called again. "Before you say no, just hear me out," he started. "What?" "Christmas dinner. At my new apartment in Portland. Just you, me, and Cordelia. No mom, no dad, no expectations, just siblings trying to figure out if there's anything left to salvage. Harrison, I don't know if She's broken, Jen. Really broken. Not just about the divorce. About losing you. And I know she doesn't deserve your forgiveness, but she's our sister. And she's trying to be better." I thought about Dr. Williams and what she'd said in our last session. Forgiveness isn't about them deserving it. It's about you deciding you don't want to carry that weight anymore. "Okay," I heard myself say. "I'll come. But I'm not promising anything. The Christmas that healed nothing and everything. Christmas Day. 2024. Portland, Oregon. Harrison's apartment was small but cozy, decorated with simple white lights and a tiny tree. When I arrived, Cordelia was already there, helping him prepare dinner. She looked different. Thinner, older. Her hair wasn't perfectly styled. She wore jeans and a sweater instead of designer clothes. When she saw me, she froze. "Hi," she said softly. "Hi." For a moment, we just stood there. Then Harrison, bless him, said, "How about we all agree this is awkward and just push through it?" I made Mom's sweet potato casserole, ironically. That broke the tension. Cordelia laughed. A real laugh, not the practiced one she used to use. We cooked together, the three of us in that tiny kitchen. We didn't talk about the wedding. We didn't talk about Brandon. We didn't talk about Mom and Dad. Instead, we talked about other things. Harrison's new job, my creative writing club, Cordelia's plan to go back to school for social work. "Social work?" I asked, surprised. She nodded. "I want to help people. Real help, not the fake charity work Mom used to drag me to for photo ops. I want to do something that matters." "What changed?" I asked. She was quiet for a long moment. Brandon's affair wasn't with just anyone. It was with Meredith. My college roommate? My best friend. Or who I thought was my best friend. When I found out, I realized I didn't actually have any real friends. Everyone in my life was there for appearances, for networking, for what I could give them. And I realized, I'd treated you the same way. Tears welled up in her eyes. You were the only person who ever loved me for me, and I threw that away for people who didn't give a damn about me. I felt my own eyes watering. "Cordelia, you don't have to say anything. I just need you to know I see it now. I see what I did. And I'm so sorry." Harrison handed us both tissues and pretended to be very interested in the oven temperature. We ate dinner. We watched a Christmas movie. We laughed at jokes that weren't that funny. It wasn't magical. It wasn't a Hallmark movie reconciliation. The wounds were still too fresh, too deep, but it was a start. Epilogue. 6 months later, it's June 2025 now. I'm sitting on my apartment balcony writing this story. I still haven't spoken to my parents. Harrison sees them occasionally, but there's a distance there now that can't be bridged. They asked him to ask me if I'd consider coming to family therapy. I declined. Cordelia and I text most weeks now. We had coffee twice last month. It's not the relationship we had as children, and maybe it never will be. But it's honest now. Real. She's in her second semester of social work school. She's dating someone, a teacher, actually. "You'd like him," she told me. "He's nothing like Brandon. He's kind. Harrison loves his job in Portland. He works with homeless youth, helping them find housing and job training. He says it's the first time he's felt like he's doing something meaningful. As for me, my creative writing club won a state competition. I'm dating someone wonderful, a librarian named Marcus who thinks my family drama would make a great novel. I told him maybe someday. I'm not going to lie and say I'm completely healed. Some days I still feel that sting of being forgotten, erased from my own family's narrative. Some days I see posts from old family friends, pictures from last Christmas where Mom and Dad smile like nothing's wrong, and I feel angry all over again. But here's what I've learned. You can't force people to value you. You can't earn love from people who've decided you're not worth the investment. And you don't have to keep showing up for people who've made it clear you're not a priority. But you can choose who your family is. You can choose to forgive, not for them, but for yourself. And you can choose to let go of the weight of other people's limitations. My family forgot to book my plane tickets to my sister's wedding. But in doing so, they gave me the greatest gift: the clarity to see who they really were, and the courage to become who I really am. And that's worth more than any destination wedding in paradise. To everyone who's ever been the forgotten one, the overlooked one, the one who didn't make the guest list of their own family's life, you're not alone. You're not too much. You're not too little. You're enough, exactly as you are. And sometimes the family you choose is better than the family you were born into. With love and solidarity, Genevieve.